What's up, survivors? Episode 10.
Episode 10.
Episode 10.
Episode 10
Is now done.
Let's roll the clip.
Double digits, baby. We made it. Oh my goodness. I don't even know where to start. You think going into it like, okay, I have an idea of what I want my plan to be, but everything is constantly changing. You just never know what to expect. And when there's only 6 people left, knowing that 2 people are still going home, it's terrifying because your odds of going home are like getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's just like, obviously your odds of winning are growing as well, but you can only win if you make it to the final 3. And even now at final 4, like, you're constantly playing in your head of, is it even a possibility? What would I say to the jury? Well, you can't say anything to the jury until you make it to final 3 even. There were no more outside advantages and idols, but challenge 1, there was an advantage. Unfortunately, my team wasn't able to win. And because of that, it lost me individual immunity. Had I had the same advantage as Katie did, I actually would have ended up on top. So I am a little bummed myself, but I'm proud with the fact that I knew the trivia, but advantages are part of the game, and unfortunately the odds just weren't in my favor. So really close, just not quite there. That one took a lot of conversations, just trying to figure out where people's heads were at. It was challenging, but ultimately I think we all kind of figured out that we didn't want to see Marcus in the final, just because he is such a strong competitor. He has always been super strong in challenges. He's won so many of them now that it's just like, what's gonna happen? And even in terms of his social game, he has really stepped it up over the past couple of weeks, and now it's like this panic mode. Second tribal council, Katie won again, so she was safe. I was truly panicking, sitting there in the middle, just unsure what to do. I even going into voting, I didn't make the decision until I was there looking at the piece of parchment. So that was definitely terrifying. When I left tribal council, I actually asked production if I had to go back in there. So ultimately, I think, while my vote probably wasn't the most favorited, I think I helped us avoid some bigger obstacles in that, coming down to it, we haven't gone to rocks yet, and that was not something I wanted to see, especially that late in the game. Pulling that one rock that's different from all the rest is not something you want to see. This is a true investment, and the longer you're here, the more you're invested, and absolutely no one wants to lose now. So it is truly an individual game. The merge requires making alliances, but the final 4, the final 3 even, it's an individual game. You are fighting for yourself.
So going into episode 10, last episode 9, I had played my idol for Alyssa during the last tribal council, so I figured there was going to be a huge target on my back going into the game. So, you never know what could happen going into it. You think you have a plan, but like I said last time, plans never work out. Always plan for backup plans. So going into the game, completely psyched out, as always. I had no idea what was going to go on. We had an idea of what the games were, what the challenges were going to be. So the first challenge going into it was actually for an advantage, and that's when we had to balance the bowling pin on the 3 things. But when we had the bowling pin on the rope, I was picked last for that, and honestly, I'm not surprised. I don't feel bad at all. Everyone, literally right now, I'm shaking my feet while I'm making this. I'm moving my hands. Everyone always sees me moving. I'm constantly shaking. It's who I am. I'm constantly moving. I'm constantly fidgeting. So no surprise that I got chose last for that. I did not mind at all, but hey, when I zone in, and I can become a statue. I'm so used to that. Nope, so that was no problem for me. I really like that challenge. I love balancing stuff. Balance is one of my favorite things. So that actually led us into the second challenge too. So going into the second tribal council, it ended up being Marcus going home first. So we had tried talking to him, seeing where his head was at, but never really heard back from him. He never kind of gave an answer, so he ended up going home. He was a beast in the challenges though, so had he made it to the Final Four, there's no doubt in my mind that he would have been going to the Final Three, winning that first challenge, whatever it was. I'm just glad I was able to remember some stuff off my head, and you know, I'm a really forgetful person. I am. So I was really shocked that I was able to answer so many of those questions and actually get immunity for the first tribal council. That was amazing. My second individual immunity that I've ever had, and absolutely during episode 10, I was not giving that up. So then going into the second challenge, that was the big block challenge where you had to hold the blocks and steady them on one another. And I mean, I can juggle, I can do a couple things, I'm really good with balance. I love it. I love balancing things on one another. I love doing balance myself. It's just something I've loved all the time growing up, still to this day, absolutely love it. You know, going into it, I was like, oh, I wonder how high I can get it. I had a pretty good feeling that I was gonna do really well in that, and you never know though. The guys were all like feeling their blocks, making sure they were flat, seeing like what side, if they should flip them around, what side they should put them on, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do that. I was like, I'll maybe put them together a little bit, and they were like, don't touch the blocks, so let's spread mine back out real quick. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I was like, I'm sorry. And so that actually messed me up a bit because they were still collected down there at the bottom, and I was standing at the other end of the table, and I was grabbing with my right hand. So when I went to go and grab my sixth block, I couldn't reach it with my right hand. So I had all my blocks, and I actually had to take a step over during that to be able to reach my block to grab it. Luckily I'm good with balancing stuff because I was able to keep it up. I got my third individual immunity and second individual immunity of that night. So that was really amazing. 3 overall, 2 that night. Never thought I'd get 2 in one night. So I absolutely love that. And yeah, so that was amazing. When Alyssa was the first one to drop, I was so sad about that. So I'm so sad to see Alyssa go. That was terrible seeing her go home during second tribal council.
I have a loss of words. I mean, I am still in it. I am extremely grateful for all that has happened to me. It's been a long journey, but I'm still in it, and I'm in it with the people that I think are most qualified to be where I'm at as well. I like the squad going in, and the challenges today were a little harder than what I expected. First, the balance game with the pin. I had confidence that we were gonna win that. It was crazy. Everything that happened, I'm just extremely grateful for. And the next event where we were asked a bunch of questions about like all of Survivor. I watch all the videos as soon as they come out, and like I don't like skip anybody. And it's crazy because it was like a true test of like your freaking memory, because like I really struggled, and I'm grateful that Marcus gave me 3. Don't really know why, because I thought he had a better chance at the end, but I mean I still somehow beat him. I kind of knew a few, but really I don't know a lot of people's names from the very beginning. That was 10 weeks ago. And then the last challenge where we had to balance the Jenga blocks, that was rough. I have good balance, and my whole strategy was to spread my feet out wide and have like a good center of gravity. Did not work out for me. I am glad that Katie won, and we eventually decided to vote Alyssa out. You're a great player. You scared the crap out of me since the beginning. You're very social. You're very good at every single game. It doesn't even matter if it's a physical game. Like, you are dominant in everything, and that scared me a lot. So I'm glad that it's me, Alec, Katie, and Claire for the final 4. I am very excited to see what GK has in mind for next Thursday.
Whew. Crazy. So we went from Final 6 to the Final 4, and for the first time this entire season, I was nervous, I was scared, I was stressed, I was unsure of how the night was going to play out, and I didn't know if I was on the chopping block. So the first challenge, I get to select the teams. I select Alyssa as the other team captain, and I pick Jake and Claire on my team, and that's the team that I wanted. We're doing that. We win the first one, we make it 5 minutes, then we start doing the 360, they drop it, and then it's a game of focus, that one was. And, you know, best of 5 is tough. And we ended up slipping up and giving them 5 straight. So they took the advantage. The next challenge, a little trivia, a little 30 questions. So the advantage was it gave them 3 spots. Somehow we talked GK and Marcus into letting him give up his advantage for Jake, which I thought was an interesting play. Me on that challenge, however, the first like 15 questions, I had hardly a clue. I really didn't think I was going to get off the starting block the entire time. But towards the end, the last 15, I started, you know, getting them, and you know, I was, I don't know, only 2 or 3 places off, maybe 4 places off from the first place, Kate. So, you know, congrats to her. In tribal council, then we ended up, you know, going for Marcus, and you know, ultimately, I think that's the best choice. He was a huge threat. You know, he won a lot of immunities. He was a scary competitor, a great guy, very chill, down to earth dude. But the dude's a competitor, you know, he likes to win. Next was stacking the giant Jenga blocks. So another balance, focus type exercise. And you know, I had a pretty good strategy. I figured once the blocks, you know, got tall enough to my face, I would start to lower my hands and, you know, make sure that top block was always eye level. I thought that was a good strategy for me. And, you know, we were going pretty well through 4, through 5. A couple people were dropping. And then it ended up being me and Kate left with about 2 minutes left with 5 blocks. And we made it through there. And my hand positioning on that bottom block was not good. And I really couldn't adjust my hand without it, you know, causing too much of an adjustment and it falling over. So I tried to delay my time of, you know, getting the extra block and stacking the 6-1 on top as long as possible, so hopefully Kate would lose. But she didn't. She, you know, stuck through and won the challenge and won another immunity, which was just rather dominant of her. And now I made it to the Final Four, so I can't complain. I'm happy. I'm shocked my name hasn't been thrown out in a couple weeks, but I'm just blessed. I'm happy, and I'm excited to keep playing. Excited to keep competing. Final Four is coming up. I'm hyped. That $1,000 is getting really, really close than it was, you know, 10 weeks ago. So I'm fired up.